Hello everyone, you probably already noticed it was posted in the Raid official Discord, and I'm sure all the Discords you're also in, about the new update. So I wanted to go over the new update here. We got update 4.2 highlights to go over, so let's get into it. Alright, spring has been generous thus far and is raining. Raid updates still. Even after the introduction of the new Doom Tower bosses, 4.2 has some significant additions to show off. New dungeon stages, a major Void champion balance patch, AI fixes, new champions. You'll see the details in a few days. Check out the highlights below to learn more. I mean, I knew about a bunch of other AI fixes. I wasn't really thinking much about the Void balance, but we saw that little teaser video on their Facebook page. Actually, let's take a look. We could always take a pause. Let's do that. Let's show that. Well, as I was scrolling to get to that video, I noticed this little attention sign. So let's see. Arena. Guys, please take a look at this message. Shortly after the release of version 4.2, we will release a fix to the classic Arena. Separately, it will happen the first half of May. The details of the matchmaking changes will be posted in our raid page next week. Stay tuned. So I'm guessing they don't address Arena at all in the 4.2 updates highlights. So people are like, what about Arena? Alright, let's go. So this I'm actually going to make a separate video about, and I haven't looked at it yet. I think it'd be fun to kind of have a few giggles for some of the terms that they may or may not think are known or not known. Alright, let's play.
An ancient evil awakens from slumber.
So literally just that, just a little teaser, but a lot of people have broken down who the champions are shown, and that's going to be mentioned in this Void rebalance part. So let's take a look at the details here. Alright, first, new dungeon stages. This one is simple but pleasant. Is it though? All dungeons, excluding Minotaur's Labyrinth and Affinity Keeps, are going to get 5 extra stages. All dungeons except the ones that need 5 extra stages. Oi. Anyway, artifact dungeon bosses on new stages will have additional passive skills. One will limit turn meter decrease, the other will limit the damage they take from attacks that scale based on the target's max HP. No more than 10% of the HP will be lost. With that in mind, even tried and tested strategies might need to be adjusted when you venture into the new stages. Don't forget that even basic enemies on the new stages will be stronger. As you expect, rewards will scale up as well to match a greater challenge. Get your champions ready, and it's time to raid the dungeons harder than ever before. So there's already been a lot of discussion on this. It's a huge nerf to champions that scale on max HP, like Royal Guard, Cold Heart, Septimus. Of course, it's not a nerf for what we're doing now. Everyone does need to remember that dungeon stages 20 are staying the same. So ideally, you'll still farm stage 20 per the norm, but you'll have to complete these other dungeon levels to maybe get through the new progress missions that they'll be releasing. That's the thought for me anyway. I'm not too worried personally about the change. I mean, yeah, I think it'll be hard to do the dungeons. Probably 25 will be quite tough, but it'll just be a longer fight, and it'll be something I choose not to farm. Unless it's something I can farm in like 5 minutes and don't mind setting that overnight. It's kind of my thought. Alright, Void Champion Rebalance. We've gone through our Void Champion roster and made a number of significant changes to ensure they perform better in battles. Most of these changes are buffs. Those skills were reworked. Visix. Woo! She can maybe come out of the vault. Alright. Flanked Mace has an 80% chance to decrease the target's turn meter by 15%, up from 10% with each hit. Sinistered Allies, skill redesigned, no longer places a shield buff on herself and will instead place a 50% ally protection buff on all allies for 2 turns. Alright, great. I mean, ally protect champions are super helpful for surviving battles, especially stuff like clan boss, although she's not going to be a clan boss champion. Alright, single combat. Skill redesigned. Attacks all enemies up to 1. Up to 1. Attacks all enemies up from 1. Places a provoke debuff on them for 1 turn. Places a shield buff on this champion equal to 20% of her max HP. Alright, great. No, she sounds like she's going to be a fantastic provoke and, yeah, a fantastic tank. I think this sounds great. We'll have to see. I don't remember her base levels as far as her base defense and whatnot. If she has a solid base defense, this is going to be a great champion to have as a tank for sure. And she's free, so that's helpful. Alright, Whirling Frost King. Winds of Winter. Effect added. Places a Val buff on the ally with the lowest HP for 1 turn if the target resisted the freeze debuff. Additionally, the duration of the perfect Val buff, if freeze was applied, has been increased to 2 turns. Frostbite Blast. Effect added. Places a 50% decrease accuracy debuff alongside the 30% decreased crit damage. These debuffs cannot be resisted. Ooh, nice. Alright, Whirlin. Icegrave Armor. Cooldown decreased to 5 turns, down from 6. And Aura increases ally defense by 40% in Doomtower battles. Oh, great. Alright. It previously was defense by 30% in arena battles. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, people weren't really using him in arena, let's be honest. But I could see with the decreased accuracy and decreased crit damage debuffs being unable to be resisted, you don't have to worry about, yeah, you don't have to worry about, well, you do have to worry about freeze, don't you? Winds of Winter effect added, if the freeze debuff was resisted. So this is kind of weird, because if he freezes people, then, this is weird. So, I mean, you're gonna need accuracy for the freeze. Let's take a look at him. Hold on, pause. Alright, so his A1 is attacks when enemy has a 30% chance of placing a freeze debuff for 1 turn. Places a perfect Val on the champion with the lowest HP if the freeze debuff is placed. So let's see, what's that compared to? Okay. So they've added the perfect Val on the enemy with the lowest HP if it's resisted. Honestly, I think, personally, I would just build him without accuracy and not worry about the freeze debuff and just take advantage of that perfect Val and not worry about freezing 1 target. Alright, well, this is interesting for sure. You could build him without accuracy because of this, at least. And maybe just, yeah, ignore that A1 personally, I don't know. Maybe people have some other thoughts. I think I would ignore accuracy on him and then just focus on maybe damage. Because he can hit hard, I am sure. I've seen him do some damage, but I feel like this is a fun new mechanic here where they cannot be resisted. Alright. Solus. I am a big fan of Solus, personally. His base speed has been increased to 97, up from 87. I don't remember him being that slow. Maybe that is why my Solus is so... I mean, I know my Solus is slow, but I never even... I don't remember it being because his base speed is so bad. Thank you. Alright, defense increased to 120, up from 105. 120. I mean, like, what? Oh, for like level 1. They're talking low here. Attack increased to 70, down from 85. Wave of Despair and Reign of Terror. Multiplier slightly decreased to fit the changes in his defense stat. Okay, so they don't want to dramatically increase his damage. Maybe with the jump from 105 to 120, it's gonna be too overpowered. That's fair. Exemplar. Oh hey, one of the worst epics in the game for sure. The one that looks sad. Alright, High Stance Ascended. Effect added. If the first hit is critical, it will increase one of the target's skills cooldown, chosen at random, by 2 turns. If the target is under weakened debuff at the time, it will increase the cooldown to maximum. Nice. That's always helpful for crowd control. Debuff chance increased to 75%, for pincer attack, and cooldown, or attack capture, cooldown decreased to 4 turns, down from 5. Alright, do I remember what her debuff is? Nope. Let's take a look. Is she a Bannerlord? No. High elf? There she is. So let's see. Pincer. Oh, okay. Weaken. Weaken was the debuff. There we go. So increased chance to place weaken debuff. Alright, Rowan. Debuff chance increased to 75%, up from 50. Blades on Blade Surge. So let's pull up Rowan. She's the Bannerlord. Right? Or not? Why can't I remember any of these people? Pause. She was there, I swear. Alright, what was the skill? We got Blade Surge. Debuff chance increased to 75%. I believe that was her. Okay, poisons. Yep, I was going to say poisons, but I wanted to make sure. So it looks like we got a 75% chance to place a 5% poison for 2 turns each hit, so that's 4 poisons. So that would book up to a 100% chance to place 4 poisons on her A3. And then she has stun on her A2 and heal reduction on her A1. Definitely giving her a little bit more utility as a poison champion. Alright, next. Towering Titan. Damage will be based on HP. Nice. Okay, I like that. I like HP-based champions. It's something a little bit different and gives a reason. It's a different form of making someone tanky. I really like that. Flailing Assault. Damage will be based on HP. Attacks 4 times at random. Places a provoke debuff on the first hit, as additional 50% chance of placing provoke debuff on subsequent hits. Alright, provoke with an HP base. Interesting. Is that the first? I feel like every other provoke champion has been defense based, so this might be something very different. We'll see. I mean, you're still going to want to build decent defense, but it's nicer to build a focus on HP because a lot of champions ignore defense. So having champions that provoke but are based on HP allows you to go against champions that ignore defense. Alright, Bullish Vitality. Shield duration increased to 3 turns. When ascended, the skill will grant this champion an extra turn. Alright, I'm very curious about him. Sounds like he'll be great support, especially for Faction Wars at the least. For those people like me without a Maneater. Alright, Swai Frostborn. Utter Rampage, still reworked, or skill reworked. Attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance of placing a 50% decrease attack debuff. Cooldown 4 turns. Skill upgrades. Okay, so it books up to 100% chance of placing decreased attack. That's great. And her dreaded reactions cooldown decreased to 4 turns from 5. Nice. I know a lot of people use her in some unique Faction Wars, Clan Boss comps. Let's pull her up here. So Utter Rampage. Cool. Alrighty. So we got Weaken, decrease attack. That's not the ability. This is the ability with. Where's the decrease attack? Oh, okay. Utter Rampage. The skill is reworked. So that is the one, and then Dreaded Reaction is the one changing the cooldown. Alright, Utter Rampage is her A2, so this will be a decrease attack. And this will be having a better cooldown for placing Weaken. Nice, so Weaken and decrease attack. Certainly a helpful champion still for Faction, or what do I want to say, Faction Wars? For Clan Boss. Onward, Broadmaw. Hail, debuff changed, increased to 35% from 25%. So I believe that is his chance to freeze on his A1. Or is it stun? I think it's freeze. Gift ascended. Effect added. Filled the turn meter of all allies by 15%. Nice. Because he's okay for Faction Wars support, and I got through it with him, but could have really used a little bit more healing or a little bit more protection. But at least being able to fill some turn meter, that will help everyone go more and hopefully be able to heal off at least War Master procs or something. Aether and Lifesteal like my Rosin. We'll see, we'll see. I'm hoping he's a lot better. I mean, this doesn't sound dramatically better, but we'll see. Resurrect. Cooldown decreased to 6 turns from 7. Yeah, that was a crazy one. That, the Revive, that's what I was saying. The Revive is not that great, and it was a long cooldown, so hopefully that will at least help people finish Faction Wars. And the Aura increases ally defense by 33% in Faction Wars. So they are trying to help people finish Lizardman Faction Wars, which is a really tough faction. Alright, Beardall Fellhammer. He's another Void that's been like, whenever you pull him, you're like, meh. So maybe this will change that. Let's see. Base stats, defense increased, HP slightly decreased. Scorled Axe, skill upgrade adjusted. So they've, buff and debuff chances increased by 30% when booked. I'll have to see what that skill is here. And then Fey Protection effect added has 75% chance to place a decreased defense debuff if the target already is under heal reduction debuff. Yeah. Let's take a quick look at him. Okay, that's for a heal reduction debuff. Alright, so I think that's the only thing. Fey Protection. Okay. Alright, maybe, we'll see. Whisper, I do like Whisper. She was a fun champion when I first got her. I know she can hit really hard. I never really did end up building her though. You know, you get so many new champions and they just kind of get pushed aside. Alright, effect added will place a 30% increased crit rate buff on this champion. Nice. So you can build her with only 70% crit rate will be the hope. And then on Unyielding Flurry, cooldown decreased to 5 turns from 6. Alright, well, I'm definitely excited. We can make her have some high crit damage and have a little bit of fun. I don't know that I would build her anytime soon. Focus is definitely all over the place as far as factions or Faction Wars goes, because I'm really more focused on Doom Tower now that I've completed Faction Wars, or increasing my speeds for other parts of the game, damage for Clan Boss, etc. So I'm not really overly focused on some of my random champions I might use for Faction Wars, but we'll see. She does hit hard. She's a single target hitter though. Alright, AI improvements. Several champions will see changes in their behavior in auto battle. You can find the comprehensive list below. So Siphi will prioritize her Whirlwind Romance skill in clan boss battles. Noise. Tyrant will prioritize his Hellfire Torrent skill in clan boss battles. Now I did ask Deadwood Jedi about this because I use Tyrant. He said this will not hurt your speed tuning if you have him in your team now. It'll actually help. Sometimes he wasn't using it when he should have, and actually that caused it to mess up some speed tunes, but it will not affect you. If you're like me, I'm running Sepulchre at a 4-3 ratio with Valkyrie at an affinity-friendly comp, and Tyrant is in there as a big source of support and damage with the HP burn. Is certainly helpful. So he is going to be just fine for my clan boss team, so that's a relief. Alright, Shatterbones will prioritize his Hal skill in the Fire Knight dungeon. Sylve the Drakes will prioritize her Wingbeat Flurry skill when there are 2 or more enemies alive. War Mother will use her Mother's Touch skill on bosses. The target has active bomb debuffs. That was bad English. A Mountain King will always prioritize targets with block damage buff when using his Regal Force skill, which of course ignores block damage. Warlord will no longer use his Orcish Ritual skills in clan boss battle. Okay, that makes sense, obviously. He doesn't need to decrease the cooldown of the clan boss. Not gonna work. Robar will use his Wild Swing skill even if there's only 1 enemy alive. Tayrel will prioritize his Humble skill when fighting the Fire Knight whenever the Cloak of Shield is active. Great, we need that. Tayrel will no longer use his Preemptive Strike skill in clan boss battles. Oof. I don't like that because that actually hits really hard and it's good damage. I mean, it's good in the sense of making sure he uses his A1 as much as possible to make sure decrease attack is on the clan boss. Although if you're using him in an unkillable comp as the decreased defense champion, this is really going to hurt your damage because you don't really need the A1's decrease attack. You really want the damage out of Preemptive Strike. It hits hard. I don't mind using that, honestly. That's one I don't really like. Alright, Elenara will no longer use her Combust skill if the target has no poisons. that makes sense. She really doesn't do any damage with her skill unless there's poison. I mean, a little bit, but you know, not much. Zavia, on the other hand, same thing. I mean, I used to think, Zavia, don't combust poisons if there's no poisons to combust. But her skill, Deadly Catalyst, actually hits pretty hard. Like, I have her built with crit rate, super high focus on attack, but I do have her at 100% crit rate, and she hits hard, and she's part of a lot of my quick farming teams. So if I'm not going to use that when there is no poison, then that might affect some of my super quick farms where I just have a bunch of AoE champions in there. Time to finally build my skull crown, right? Anyway, I mean, this will be great for some of my content. I do like to pair Zavia with like Tomb Lord for the poisons, or I'd rather have Zavia use her poisons first before combusting them against a boss, or some of the waves for that matter, if I'm not using my Seer comp. So this is, I mean, I think overall it's good, but I'm a little bit worried of how it's going to affect some of my speed teams for lazy farming, like normal Doom Tower or Potion Keeps. We'll see. Alright, Maneater will target Svag with his Siphon skill when fighting in the Spider's Den. Svag. Skavag. Skavag. Is that the spider's name? Do we know the spider's name? I know they all have names, but... Alright, oh, and that's it. Okay, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Are there any things that stick out to you? Any champions that you're excited to use in certain areas of the game? Feel free to comment below if I forgot something. I mean, it's hard to just read through the stats and be like, okay, that sounds better, cool, until you actually get them in action. It's hard to really test it out and see based on multipliers, of course, for damage sake, or depending on their defense, are they really that good of a tank or not? So we'll see. I'm excited to have the... I like when they buff champions that are sitting in our vault. It gives us a reason to try to use them. But I feel like a lot of times when they do a series of buffs and everything, people sound awesome, they end up still in our vault. Like, I love the idea of Hexia and Gerptuk as a duo because of her damage when you have debuffs increased. Stuff like that. But did I ever actually build her? No. It's hard when you need to prioritize your main teams or your main damage, your main people, your main legendaries. So hopefully this will help get some more use out of some of these champions. I'm definitely happy for some of these AI improvements. That's always great. Although, hello, where is our being able to choose our prioritization of skills AI fix? Not here quite yet, I guess. Alright, thank you guys for watching. Sorry this was a little bit long, I think, but thanks for hanging out. And catch me on my next video, and I will be on Twitch as always. Bye!